What's going on, everyone? I am Design Coma, and hopefully you guys are getting to watch this video up on TSG. First of all, I want to say thanks to Thunder for putting it up. So what is this video going to be all about? Well, it's kind of a PSA, I guess you could say, a little public service announcement, or call it a public gamer announcement, I suppose, because this is something that happened recently in my life that really pertains to anybody and everyone who does video games, plays video games, does YouTube, things like that. So what is it that happened? Well, this happened to me back in January, and it was, I want to say 3 days before my birthday. Could have been 4 days, 3 days before my birthday in January. I'm not going to say how old I am, but I will definitely share that I am in my 40s. So I've been playing games for quite some time, the good old Pong days, Atari, and all that good stuff. So what is it that happened in January? Well, I suffered what's called a PE, or pulmonary embolism. So what is a pulmonary embolism? Well, basically, it's a blood clot. It's as simple as that. It's a blood clot. I suffered a blood clot in the back side of my lung. They call it the right flank. These things do not discriminate in any way. And the reason I wanted to get it out there and share it with everybody, because I don't really think there's a lot of talk about these things that can happen to just about anybody and everybody. I will tell you, there are a lot of other factors that go into it, but to be honest with you, I didn't fall into any of these factors, which is kind of the strange thing. So they call mine a unprovoked blood clot, or pulmonary embolism, PE. We'll just say PE for short, because it's a lot easier to say, to be honest with you. So it's unprovoked. What is an unprovoked PE? Ultimately, most blood clots are caused by certain factors. Most of them are from people who have been on a long plane flight. So think of flying from the US to anywhere on the other side of the world, like Japan, Germany, long plane flights like that. And you're not really getting up and moving around enough. So that really comes into the gaming space. And I can definitely tell you that prior to me suffering this PE, I wasn't really getting up and moving around as much as I usually do. I work in IT, so you can imagine the amount of time that I sit at a desk, just working in general. So we're talking, 9-hour workday. I try to get up as much as possible, but being that I suffered this PE, which is kind of unusual and a little scary. Actually, it's not a little scary, it's a lot scary, because I started doing some research on this, and in the past, and they're even still considered this, PEs are considered like the silent killer. Okay, and they don't care who you are, they don't care how old you are. It's just something that happens, and it forms. There are some other things that can be causes. I'm gonna kind of rattle off a few of them. Like some of the risk factors, or things that could go into leading up to PEs. There's like recent surgery, hospitalization, extended immobilization. So like people that are stuck in bed, bedridden and things of that nature. Chronic kidney disease, liver disease, even pregnancy can cause, blood clotting and PEs. So I ended up in the hospital for this, and I was in there for a good 3 days, 4 days, I think. I think it was, well, they call it 4 days, but it was more like 3 days for me. And it was scary. I have 2 kids. I have a son who is 19 still. He'll be 20 this year. He's in the Michigan National Guard, and he's just really starting his life. My daughter is 17. She will be a senior next year. So my first night in the hospital was it was life-changing. It was life-changing for me, because in some cases people don't survive these, and it really started me thinking about a lot of things that I would have missed. You know, my daughter's wedding, for example, is one of them. My son starting his law enforcement career. He wants to get into law enforcement and things like that, and just all of the lasts. And what I mean by that is everything that happened that day that would have been my last, like the last time I told my wife I loved her, the last time I hugged my kids, the last time anything, you know, talk to my dad, anybody in my life, my sisters. So many of the last things that were running through my head that night. So ultimately what needs to happen here, it's just one of those things where you really need to be proactive about getting up and moving around, and typically they recommend getting up about every hour or so and moving around, being active, exercising a lot, you know, things, having a good diet, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Some of the bigger risk factors are, like, you know, the top one is not getting enough exercise, and anybody can Google this stuff up. Being overweight, smoking. I was a former smoker, but it has been 10 plus years since I've had a cigarette. You know, and the thing is I'm not severely overweight. I exercise quite often. I mean, I train for marathons every single year. I train for marathons. So for me to suffer a pulmonary embolism, you know, a PE, being it's unprovoked, is scary to me. It was scary for my family, and thankfully everything worked out in my favor. You know, I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. Hopefully this doesn't happen to me again. I am going to be on blood thinners, you know, indefinitely, you know, for the rest of my life. And it's not a horrible thing. It just means, you know, there's some life changes that have to take place and all that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it's a little bit of a dark thing to talk about, but at the same time I really wanted to get out there and share it. So hopefully this lands on the channel, and it'd be great if you guys come visit my channel. I'm going to be doing some more videos. I'm going to do a longer, lengthy video in terms of this pulmonary embolism thing on my own channel. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Give the channel a good like, subscribe, and all that good stuff.